My wife has been sleeping with her eyes open for 3 weeks. I just found out why. I've been married to Emily for 12 years. She's a light sleeper, always has been. Any little noise, a car passing, the dog shifting in his bed, me rolling over, and she'd stir. She'd mumble something incoherent, roll onto her side and fall back asleep within seconds. 3 weeks ago, that changed. I woke up at 3:17 a.m. to find her staring at me, not groggy, not half asleep, fully alert. Her eyes were wide open, unblinking, fixed on my face. I jumped. "Em, you okay?" No response, just that empty, glassy stare. Her breathing was slow and even, too even, like a metronome. I waved my hand in front of her face. Nothing. No reaction. Her pupils didn't even dilate. She was asleep, but her eyes were wide open. I'd heard of this, sleepwalking, night terrors. Some people's brains just don't fully shut down during REM sleep. I figured it was stress. Work had been brutal for her lately. She was managing a team that was understaffed and overworked. She'd been coming home late, exhausted, barely eating dinner before collapsing into bed. I went back to sleep. In the morning, I asked her about it. She didn't remember anything. "Maybe I need to see a doctor," she said, rubbing her temples. "I haven't been sleeping well. I feel like I'm awake all night, even when I know I'm not." I told her to make an appointment. She said she would. She didn't. The next night, it happened again. And the night after that, every single night for a week. I'd wake up at some ungodly hour, and there she was, staring, her eyes tracking something invisible in the darkness. Sometimes she'd smile, a tiny, creepy twitch at the corner of her mouth. I started sleeping on the couch. It was easier. I told her I was having back issues and needed the firmer cushions. She believed me, or she pretended to. But here's the thing that started to really mess with me. Whenever I slept on the couch, I'd wake up in the middle of the night with the worst feeling, like someone was watching me. I'd sit up, heart pounding, and scan the dark living room. Nothing there, just shadows. But I could feel it, a presence, standing in the corner, waiting. One night, I got up to get a glass of water. I walked past our bedroom door. It was open a crack, just a sliver of darkness, and I heard something, whispering. Not words, just sounds, like someone trying to speak, but their mouth was full of cotton, a wet, muffled, desperate sound. I pushed the door open. Emily was sitting bolt upright in bed. Her eyes were open, but this time they weren't glassy. They were wide, terrified. Tears were streaming down her cheeks. "Don't let them take me," she said. Her voice was normal, her real voice, not the sleep monotone I'd been hearing. "Please, I can see them. They're everywhere." And then she collapsed back onto the pillow, her eyes closed. She was out cold. I shook her. I screamed her name. She wouldn't wake, not for 20 minutes. And when she finally did, she had no memory of what happened. She just looked at me, confused and exhausted. "Did I say something weird?" she asked. "No," I lied. "You were just talking in your sleep." I didn't sleep at all that night. I sat in the corner of the bedroom, watching her. She slept peacefully, eyes closed, not a single whisper. The next night, I took her to a sleep clinic. They ran tests, wired her up to machines, had her spend the night in a sterile room with cameras and monitors. The doctor called me the next morning. His voice was tight, professional, but I could hear something underneath, unease. "Mr. Harrison, your wife has a form of parasomnia. It's rare, but not unheard of. She's experiencing REM without atonia. Her body stays still, but her brain is fully active. In some cases, the eyes open. It's harmless, usually." "Usually?" I asked. He paused. "We noticed something unusual in her brainwave patterns. She's not just dreaming, she's processing something. Her visual cortex is firing at levels we typically see in people who are awake. She might be seeing things, hallucinations. We'd like to keep her for observation. They kept her for 3 days. She came home exhausted but relieved. They put me on medication, she said. It's supposed to help me sleep deeper, no more open eyes. For 2 nights, it worked. I checked multiple times. Her eyes stayed closed. She slept like a normal person. But I didn't. I couldn't, because even with her eyes closed, even with the medication, I still felt it, that presence, watching me from the corner of the room, standing in the shadows, waiting. The 3rd night, I woke up at 4 a.m. I don't know why. I just opened my eyes, and there she was, staring at me, eyes wide open. But this time, they weren't glassy. They were alert, aware, and she was smiling. Not her normal smile. Something else. Something wrong. Her lips were stretched too wide, the corners of her mouth twitching. She looked like she was trying to mimic a human expression, but had never seen one before. "Emily?" I whispered. She tilted her head, a slow, deliberate motion, like a puppet being moved by invisible strings. "Hello, David," she said. But it wasn't her voice. It was lower, deeper, and it came from somewhere behind her, as if someone was standing right behind her, speaking through her mouth. I scrambled out of bed, flipped on the light. Nothing. Just Emily sitting in bed, eyes open, staring at nothing, her expression slack, her mouth hanging open. I shook her. She didn't respond. I shook her harder. Nothing. I called 911. The paramedics came. They checked her vitals. Her heart was beating normally. Her breathing was fine, but she was completely unresponsive, catatonic. At the hospital, they ran every test, blood work, MRI, CT scan. Everything came back normal. The doctor looked baffled. "Mr. Harrison, your wife's brain is active, but she's not responding to any external stimuli. It's like she's somewhere else." I sat in her room all night, holding her hand, waiting. At 3 a.m., the hospital monitor started beeping. Her heart rate spiked. Her blood pressure skyrocketed. She started thrashing on the bed, her eyes rolling back in her head. And then she sat up, eyes wide open, staring at the corner of the room. "Please," she whispered, "please, just let me go." I followed her gaze. The corner was empty, just a chair and a small table. But I felt it again, that presence, watching, waiting. And then I saw something that made my blood run cold. A shadow, cast on the wall, but there was nothing in the room casting it. It was just there, a shape, tall, thin, with arms that were too long and a head that was too big. It moved, slowly, drifting across the wall toward the bed. Emily started screaming, a horrible animal sound, like she was being torn apart from the inside. "Tell it to stop," I yelled. "Emily, tell it to stop." "I can't," she sobbed. "It's in my head. It's been in my head for weeks. It makes me keep my eyes open. It makes me watch. It makes me see." See what? I never found out. Because at that moment, the lights in the room flickered, the machines flatlined. Emily went completely still, her eyes locked onto mine, and for the first time in 3 weeks, they looked like her eyes again. My wife, looking at me with love and terror and a terrible understanding. "David," she said, using her real voice, "don't let it follow you home." She closed her eyes and didn't open them again. The funeral was last week. I've been sleeping at my brother's house. I can't go back to that house. I can't go near the bedroom. But tonight, I woke up at 3 a.m., my eyes wide open. I couldn't close them. No matter how hard I tried, my eyelids wouldn't move. And when I looked at the corner of my brother's guest room, I saw it, the shadow, tall, thin, arms too long, head too big. It moved, slowly, drifting across the wall toward the bed. It's watching me, and I think it wants to crawl inside. I can feel it. in the back of my mind, whispering, telling me to keep my eyes open, telling me to look, to see. I don't want to see. I don't know how long I can fight it. So if you're reading this and ever wake up and see a shadow in the corner of your room, don't look at it. And whatever you do, don't fall asleep with your eyes open.